Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a new video tutorial where I created a few Christmas cards and holiday cards using mica sheets and alcohol inks. I hope you enjoy the process as I've really liked working with these mica sheets that I got for my friend Cheryl, and I created another video recently where I made ATCs in this way, but this time I made cards and I ran these sheets through my die cutting machine. So the first thing I did is I took the sheets that she gave me out of my plastic bag and I started separating them. They're very thin sheets and they're shiny and very smooth, so they're perfect for alcohol inks. I really want to try them with some other mediums as well, but right now I'm just enjoying the process of using them with the alcohol inks. I am linking below in the description area all the products I used today and the links to where you can buy them. I found some of these type of sheets on Amazon, and if you're interested in buying them and creating these type of cards or just creating backgrounds using them and alcohol inks, then you can go ahead and purchase these. The ones I found are a little bit darker. They have like more of a vintage tinge to them. They're a little bit brownish. However, they still work the same way and you can stain them and they look amazing. So what I did is I took the sheets and I separated them inside two trays. These are plastic containers that I have from some packaging. These are from stamps or die packaging, and the nice thing about them is that they have a little bit of an indent so you can place them inside and not stain your mat. Then I took a few of my favorite alcohol ink colors and I started staining them in the background. I wanted to create some that have more of Christmassy colors like greens and reds and gold. And then I wanted to create some that are blues and silver. So that's going to be on the other tray. So all you have to do is just spill it on top of the mica sheets and the colors will blend with each other. You can also add the mixatives in gold and silver, and they add really nice color to the background. I thought I would need the alcohol solution, but I ended up just adding the colors without having to dilute them or blend them because they blended nicely on their own. You can definitely use the same technique with the alcohol inks using either some Yapo paper or some acetate, or even the packaging that I'm using here without the mica sheets. You just use the alcohol ink and stain the actual plastic. However, what I like about the mica sheets is that not only are they smooth and shiny, but they also have this texture to them that has almost like vein-like looking lines in between the mica sheets. And what it does is that when you add your alcohol inks, they tend to go in between those veins and create beautiful texture. So I really like the texture it creates because it makes it look like stained glass, almost like a mosaic stained glass background. My idea was to create faux ornaments on top of the cards. So I thought that a stained glass look for the ornament was a perfect solution because it would look so nice and it would make it look like a real ornament made out of glass. What I did is I took two sets of dies. One of them is the circle die from Tonic Studios and the other one is the star-shaped dies from Umbrella Crafts from scrapbook.com. And what I did is I took some white cardstock and I traced the dies on top of the white cardstock. I could have first stuck a bunch of the mica flakes and then die cut them through with the actual shapes. However, I didn't want to waste a lot of my pieces, so I figured that if I outline the area first, then I will only stick the mica in the places where the actual shape is. And that helped to not waste as much of my colored mica. Then I took some matte gel. This is the Prima Feneber matte gel, and I started gluing the mica to the back. If you want your pieces to be very shiny, then I do recommend you using some gloss gel instead of some matte gel. The matte gel still keeps the shininess of the mica, but not as much as if you use the gloss gel. I didn't actually have gloss gel at hand, so mine are not as shiny as I would have liked to, but they still have a beautiful luster. So I'm gluing all the pieces to the background of each of the outlined shapes, and once I'm done, I'm going to die cut each piece with the original dies. I realized that I had so much of the mica left over that I ended up creating one more star for an extra card. Originally, I was going to make only 3 cards, but then I ended up making 4, and I used the rest of the mica to glue on top of this star. It's really important to make sure that the pieces are glued really well together, and then you should also add some of the gel on top to make sure that everything seals into place. That will help when you're running the die through the machine to make sure that none of the pieces come apart. I also cut out 4 pieces of cardstock, which I ran through an embossing folder to create these beautiful lines in the background. Then I took some Nouveau Mousse in both the mother of pearl and silver color and added a little bit of a shimmery luster to the background. I did 2 cards in the mother of pearl that it's kind of a golden color, and I did 2 of them in the silver as well. I use my Tim Holtz blending tool to actually apply it because it applies it really smoothly, and it looks amazing because it has such a beautiful luster and shimmer. I also went ahead and stamped all my sentiments. I used the same stamp for all of them, which is a Concord and 9th Merry Christmas stamp from the Oh Christmas Tree stamp set. I took my stamp block and stamped some versamark ink on a piece of white cardstock. Of course, I first used my powder tool to just make sure that no embossing powder would stick to the background. Then I stamped 2 of the phrases and embossed them with Princess Gold Ranger embossing powder. Once I was done heat setting the Princess Gold one, I went ahead and stamped them again, but this time I went ahead and I embossed them in a silver embossing powder because 2 of the cards were in gold hues and the other ones were in the silver hues. Once all the sentiments were heat set, I went ahead and trimmed them down and then gave them a nice shimmery look with the same Nouveau Mousse I have used before. So I just rubbed some of the mother of pearl on the golden background and some of the silver on the silver embossed background. Once the gel was thoroughly dry, I went ahead and die cut the pieces on each of the backgrounds. You have to make sure that the gel is fully dry so the dies don't stick to the gel and ruin your project. I arranged the dies so it fits perfectly on top of each piece of mica, and then I stuck it down with some microspore tape so I could run it through the die cut machine. Now it was time to assemble the cards, and to do this I needed to get some thread to make it look as if it's an ornament. So what I did is I took some golden thread and I used my gel to put a few threads together to make the thread be a bit thicker than the one I had. I wanted to make sure that the thread can be seen through the card. To stick the thread, I used just regular Scotch tape And I just went and stuck it both in the front and in the back by measuring where it goes according to the ornament. And of course, many times I didn't center it properly, so you see me trying to adjust the thread to make sure that it is centered according to the circle that I'm going to add afterwards. And sometimes I have a hard time centering things, I guess, because every single card happened that way. Once I know where the ornament goes, I took some of my art glitter glue and went ahead and stuck the circle in the middle. I pre-made some golden bows and I stuck those at the top of the ornament because I really wanted it to look like a perfect ornament from a tree. Then I took some foam tape and stuck the sentiment to the center of that ornament. For the second card, I did the exact same thing. I took the string and stuck it in two places because I had two smaller ornaments that were going to be hanging from the top of the card. So I measure where the string is supposed to go and then stuck it in the back. And I did the same thing with the second string. Once I knew where the ornaments go, and of course I had to kind of shift a little bit because I always got them in the wrong place, I went ahead and stuck all the other elements as well, the bow and the sentiment, and this made it look as if there's two ornaments hanging from the top of the card. For the star-shaped ornaments, I did the exact same thing, but I did have an extra star out there. So what I did is I ended up layering it and cutting another die cut of a white star and adding it to the center so it would match up with the rest of the background. For the ribbon on top of the ornament, I only had blue ribbon. I actually did not have silver ribbon. So what I did is I took the silver Nouveau Mousse and stained the top of my ribbon so it would look more silverish and shimmery. Then I went ahead and started assembling the card. So what I did is I took the big star and I stuck it like I did before using the string to make it look as if it's hanging from the top of the card, and glued the string again with Scotch tape. The star in the middle, which I layered in between the large and small star, was actually cut from the same cardstock and then embossed with the same embossing folder. That way, it looked as if it was a continuous line between the background and that star. I went ahead and glued the large star first, then I put the middle one and then the small one right on top. I didn't center this large star in the middle because I didn't want the sentiment to cover the small star in the middle. So what I did is I skewed the sentiment to the side. I also added a small gemstone on top of the bow once I glued both of them together to make it a little bit different from the other cards. The last card was assembled the same way as the other card with the two ornaments. I went ahead and measured where the string is supposed to go and then glued it to the background as I had done with all the other ones. Then I did the same thing with the second ornament and assembled my whole card. Once all the cards were done, I took some foam tape and I glued the background to an A2 note card. These backgrounds are 1/8 of an inch smaller than an A2 note card, so they can have a little bit of a trim around the border. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching these as much as I loved making them. I really love the stained glass look and mosaic feel to each of the ornaments. My favorites are actually the circular ornaments because they really look like real ornaments. But I do love the star colors because blues and greens are some of my favorite colors to work with. If you loved my video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. For more inspiration, subscribe to my channel above and go to my website and sign up for my newsletter so you will never miss another post. Have a wonderful day. Bye!